Okay, there we go. Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to the December 6th, 2024 version of the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. Today is the first Friday of the month, and we have a procedure that usually we do an open forum where you bring your challenges to job search into the group, and we all together help one another to face these challenges and learn and proceed and make progress. So be thinking of a challenge that you have, a question that you would want to ask, so that when we get to that part of the session, we can entertain that and see if we can help each other out today. It's great to have you participate. So note that we are recording this event, and it will be on the Career USA YouTube channel. So by participating, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Note that the comments in the chat window will not appear in the recording. This was founded, this group was founded by Jeff Morris. Started it in 2007. Well, actually, he didn't found it. I think he said he scratched his ear, and that meant somebody volunteered him to take over the group. But he's been leading that since 2007. He's been out and he's recovering. For those of you that know Jeff, we're really excited about his recovery. We can tell you that he drove himself this last Tuesday to Frisco Connect as just an indicator of where he is in his progress. So that's great. So he created the dfw.org website and the careerusa.org. If you do not know of the careerdfw.org website, I tell all people who are beginners in the job search, that is a must. You should go to that website and peruse it, go through it and look at it. There is a recorded video that Jeff gave 2 or 3 weeks ago that goes through all of that. And so you can watch that and he'll walk you through all the information in there, and you'll have a guided tour. He also wrote a book, What I've Learned About Your Job Search, that you may not know. It's available on Amazon. It's kind of a synopsis of the main points of the many speakers that he's held and had in the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. So we're hoping that we'll see Jeff back in the seat. Matt and I will be fired, and he will be running the show. We're all excited about that. Always, Jeff, on the first Friday, also announces that the careerdfw.org and the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group are 2 different organizations. As he would say, you cannot have careerdfw.org, but you might be able to take over this group as far as leadership, which that's not going to happen. In the meantime, Matt, Keelan, and I have volunteered to try to keep the group going on Fridays and having meetings, and so we kind of tag team. Matt does all the hard work, and I'll do all the easy stuff. So our agenda today, we'll start with success stories, any job leads. We might have a couple of recruiters online today. Our 30-second introductions, the committee reports with the tip of the week, the interview success workshop, the pick group, and then to the main forum. So any success stories today? Well, I can tell you that Army Shaw landed, announced it Wednesday. He's in cybersecurity. He's working a gig up in Michigan until January, and it will start on January. And I don't have the name of the company handy that where he's going to start, but congratulations to Army. And he reserves the right to announce his landing when he gets back as well, but good for Army. All right. Do we have any recruiters online today?
Found the email from Army. He's a critical incident manager at CVS Health in Dallas.
There was a landing.
Okay. Well, maybe he can reduce the cost of a prescription or something. Well, congratulations. All right.
I would be happy if he reduced the size of their receipts. Oh my God.
Okay. All right, we'll just move on. So we'd like you to make an introduction to yourself in the chat window. For those of you that are online, put in your name, the position you're looking for, your email and LinkedIn, your phone. And we'd like to know what city you're in, since we have people now in different parts of the country. And if you have target companies, list 2 or 3 target companies, okay? You can put that into the chat window. My sound, for some reason, is not working, so I can't get the music to wait for the 30 seconds. So I'm going to give you a 30-second punch on the clock. All right, y'all can continue doing that as we go to the people in the room. So we'd like you to take the microphone and come up to the computer that's on the table, on the stand, and introduce yourself with your name. It's always a good habit to pause between your first and last name so that people hear that clearly when you do that. So state your name, what kind of job are you looking for if you have target companies, where would you need some contacts, and where you might have contacts to help others, and then repeat your name again. So for those of you in the room, welcome.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. So I'm looking for a VP or Senior Director of Product Management role focused on data and analytics solutions. So I need contacts at Keurig Dr. Pepper or Frito-Lay. I have contacts at Walmart and Epsilon and Accenture. So my name is Mike Belzil.
Thank you, Mike. Morning, Jody.
Good morning. My name is Jody Dahlberg. I'm looking for an IT operations manager or director of IT role. Right now, I'm targeting 2 companies. One is called Warabea, which is a food manufacturing plant in Louisville, and the other one is Legends Entertainment. I have a lot of contacts for IT, actually in a lot of different areas, so feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Jody Dahlberg.
Mike, William? Yes. I need to fix this thing. Line up. Yeah, line up. Go on. Don't be bashful. All right. Good morning, everybody. My name's William McLaughlin. Currently seeking a data analyst role and looking for contacts at Dave and Buster's and CoreLogic. My name is William McLaughlin. Thank you very much and happy December.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mitch Birchfield. About 20 years in a PC tech role from local support all the way up to enterprise. Looking for something similar. Basic jack of all trades, PC tech, I guess. Not really any target companies, just looking for what's out there. Mitch Birchfield. Thanks.
Thank you, Mitch.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Aaron Dutka. I am a year out of college. So far have business analyst experience under my belt in private equity and tech consulting. I am looking for entry-level roles in tech consulting, commercial real estate, or sales, as I have experience in all 3. I need contacts at Gartner right now, as I have a second round interview there. I have contacts at much of the Big 4, as well as Alvarez and Marsal. Again, my name is Aaron Dutka.
Good job, Aaron.
My name is Tyler Bauer. Just here to listen today, and I can help with Capgemini.
Thank you, Tyler. Tyler found a job. So he's visiting. He just can't stay away from us.
Woohoo. All right, Patty.
See, online.
Hi, everybody. My name is Patty Bashi, and I'm looking for an account director, senior customer success manager role at a marketing research company. I need contacts at Circana and Sago and Mintel, and I have contacts at Nielsen and Kantar. My name is Patty Bashi.
Thanks, Patty. Amy.
Hi, my name is Amy Fleming, Senior Director of People Operations. I'm I'm not looking for contacts right now, but I'm looking for HR management roles, working hybrid or remotely, hybrid in the Katy, Houston area. My name is Amy Fleming.
Thanks, Amy. Anthony.
My name is Anthony Archery. I am a senior retail operationist. I help company drive sales, grow profit at the same time, reduce costs. Anthony Archery.
Thank you. Cindy.
Hey, good morning. My name is Cindy Liu, and I'm a product manager. I'm looking for contacts at Emerson or Schneider Electric, and I have contacts at American Airlines or Dell and Gartner for the gentleman who is looking for that. Please connect with me, Cindy Liu. Thank you.
Awesome. Love the networking. David Ramirez.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm an IT network engineer. I help organizations resolve technology-related issues. I'm looking for contacts at American Airlines and City of Irving. My name is David.
Thank you. Graciela. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I landed a part-time job right now, so I'm not
Awesome.
looking for a full-time yet, but I'm here to say hi, stay connected, and I'd like to find a digital marketing networking group if anybody knows of anything. So my name's Graciela Custer.
Thank you. Glenn Meggs.
Hello, everyone. This is Glenn Meggs. I'm a retired PhD mathematical scientist, background in signal processing. Currently maintaining the CSN Engineering Focus Group, which also meets jointly with the CSN IT Group. Glenn Meggs.
Steve Rowan.
Hi, my name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer. I like to keep up with what's going on in the world of people working in IT. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you, Steve. Michelle. What did I click on? Michelle without a last name.
Really? Hold on, let me fix that.
No, it is Michelle Hogg. It says there, right?
There's two Michelles.
Oh,
Okay.
We can come back to myself. Michelle, if you'd like to go, and I'll
sure. Okay.
explain the name.
Good morning, everyone. This is Michelle Hawk. I have 15 years experience in accounts receivable cash posting, as well as the last 3 years I have spent working in dental surgeon, insurance verification. I'm looking for a position with CVS, if anybody knows of a contact at CVS Distribution in Irving. And otherwise, I'm here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I'm Michelle Hawk.
Can we get my bell, Michelle?
Yes.
All right. The other Michelle.
Here I am. My apologies. I don't know why my account has my middle name, but my name is Loretta Michelle Wilson. I do go by Loretta. I am looking for a business analyst, Scrum Master role. Have a number of years experience in that particular area. I do need contacts at a company called Fay Group. I went through a first round of interview with HR at that company. So if anyone knows of anyone at that company, Fay Group, that can possibly give me some information on the interviewing process would be great. And again, my name is Loretta Wilson.
Thanks, Loretta. Kathleen Dixon.
Hello, good morning. My name is Kathleen Dixon. I am a senior level leader in the senior living and also in any operations and sales position. I've been in retail and childcare, senior living, and taxes. So in various levels of operations and sales. I am looking for still more the senior living and hospitality. The different companies or contacts that I would like is in Remington Hospitality, or even the Connor Group, which is real estate. So that's another different level that I'm looking at. And my contacts are still in senior living since I was in it. I would say in retail, in operations and sales. My name is Kathleen Dixon.
Kathleen, I can help you with contacts at Erickson Senior Living if you're interested.
Okay, excellent.
All right, connect with me after. Peter.
Good morning, everybody. Peter Watson. I'm a project and services delivery manager looking for a role remotely or Plano and surrounding cities. Some travel is acceptable. Background is telecom, IT, or networking, let's say. I have contacts at Tempest Telecom, Verizon, and Ericsson, if anybody needs them. Peter Watson, and sorry I was late getting here and I haven't got the camera plugged in yet.
No problem. Deanna. Deanna. How about Loretta Wilson?
Same person. I just changed my name.
Oh.
It's Loretta. It's Michelle. Sorry to
Okay.
confuse you.
Just now you're good.
Sorry for the confusion.
Miguel.
Hello, Walt, Matt, Valia. Good morning, everyone. My name is Miguel Castillo. I'm looking for a director or VP of finance, financial planning and analysis, or a CFO at a smaller company. I need contacts at General Motors. This week, even though I want to stay in Dallas, I'll ask for if anyone has any contacts with Delta, that's in Delta Airlines. I have contacts at American Airlines and Amazon. And my name is Miguel Castillo.
Thanks, Miguel. Patty.
Didn't she go?
Did you go?
I'm here. You want me to talk again?
No. Sorry, so often I lose track. Rosina.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I am your Career Tip of the Week host. I am currently looking for a senior talent acquisition business partner or senior recruiter role because I help companies find the right talent to fill their open opportunities. And so I have contacts across a variety of companies, and I will provide those as I hear them. And then I'm looking for contacts at Delta Dental, Unum Dental, MetLife, ADP, and Goldman Sachs and Deloitte. So if anybody has contacts at any of those locations, that would be great. Again, Rosina Gallman.
Thanks, Rosina. Steve Sulkin.
Morning, everybody. I'm Stephen Sulkin. I'm a Director of Operations Excellence. I've got a Lean Six Sigma black belt, and I'm also an organizational psychologist. I'm looking for contacts at Community Hospital Corporation, and I can help with contacts at Baylor Scott and White. I'm Steve Sulkin.
Thank you, Steve. Walker.
Hey everyone, my name is Walker Tyndall. This is my first time joining this group today.
Welcome.
I thank you. I'm a relatively recent college grad, graduated from Purdue University with a degree in biochemistry. I am looking for jobs in clinical research or laboratory type positions. I need contacts at places like UT Southwestern, Baylor Scott and White, Alcon, companies like that. And yeah, that's about it. Again, my name is Walker Tyndall.
Welcome, Walker. Reach out to me after, and I got some resources for you for your grads.
Okay, that would be amazing. Thank you.
And for me, for Baylor Scott and White.
Okay, awesome. That would be great.
William Evangelista.
Yes, my name is William Evangelista. I'm a Scrum Master looking for project management roles and Scrum Master roles. I need contacts, and Peter, I already just messaged you earlier, at Verizon, Motorola, Ericsson, Telecom. I was 20 years with T-Mobile, so I have a lot of telecom experience. I have contacts at T-Mobile. I also have contacts. Somebody mentioned about Frito-Lay. I know somebody works there. I can get you in contact there. Some people have been mentioning American Airline. I was on a meeting, I think it was Wednesday, and Foster said he had some connections there. Walter or Matt, if you know how to contact Walter, Foster, he was mentioning that's going to be a big thing coming up. Once again, my name is William Evangelista. Thank you.
Ahmed.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ahmed Issa, IT project manager / Scrum Master, looking to stay in the field. Currently based in the Twin Cities, but I'm open to relocating Texas. I have contacts at Randstad and Robert Half, mainly targeting financial companies as well as the government. So if you guys have any contacts there, that'll be great. Thank you. Once again, my name is Ahmed.
Brenda.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brenda Navarre, and I'm looking for positions in the project management, senior level project management opportunities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Have been looking, my background is in telecommunications. I do have contacts at Verizon, and so I'm looking for any telecom related, but it doesn't have to necessarily be in the Dallas, Fort Worth Metroplex area. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I miss anybody online?
We have 2 more in the room.
We do.
We're not going to name any names.
Just initials, Penn Hoyt.
Well, good morning, everyone. Dogs weren't cooperative this morning. My name is Penn Hoyt. I'm a director of marketing in the B2B space. That's what I'm looking for. I have contacts in a variety of companies. I'm more than happy to help on out, especially in the software SaaS world, also a little bit in the government contracting world. I'm looking for a contact. Hold on a minute, because I just spaced the name out. ShareTrue is the name. Wow. Soliticus. ShareTrue is the name of the company I'm looking for contacts at. I got the contact of the hiring manager right now, but I'd like to talk to some other people there as well. Again, my name is Penn Hoyt.
Good morning. Hello, my name is Adina. Oh, first time.
William is our sergeant of arms.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Adina Clark. I am a senior procurement sourcing manager. I'm looking for jobs in the same field, procurement, but in private industry. I need contacts at American Airlines, Baylor Scott and White. I took a note of those that were mentioned. I have contacts at the city of Dallas. I've worked there for 5 years. My name is Adina Clark, and thank you.
Welcome. Got to say this, I get charged twice. So I walked in just as a woman was talking about needing digital contacts in the Dallas area. There's a group called Dallas Digital. It just had a 2-day meeting here in town. Ping me on LinkedIn, Penn Hoyt, PENNHOYT. I get you the link to the organization. It's a phenomenal meeting. It's all the top digital people in the area, plus other stuff coming on through. The only reason I didn't go to it is because when you're unemployed, it is not cheap. But when you're employed, your company pays for it.
Thank you, Penn.
How about you, Matt?
Matt Keelan, IT VP Director. I help companies manage their dollars wisely, IT dollars wisely. No contact request this week. I can help you with Terry Beckert and Grant Thornton. Matt Keelan.
Thank you, Matt. Anybody else join online that we missed? Okay, thank you much. So, Rosina, you're up for the career tip of the week.
Thank you so much, Walt. All right. Well, everybody, good morning. Again, Rosina Gallman. This week's tip of the week is continuing on with the series that I put together talking about competency-based interview questions and things of that nature. And so since we only have 3 Fridays left in the month of December, we're going to go ahead and finish out with me bringing you additional resources that help with competency-based interview questions, helping you to get resources to where you can practice and get ready for interviews, all that good information. I'm going to continue on over this next couple of Fridays. So today's tip of the week is 100 plus job interview questions and answers. This article is or this guide is by Martina Marskell. She's a Monster contributor. And so basically, when you get the email from Matt this afternoon, this 27-page guide, it's a comprehensive guide to have common job interview questions. And they are categorized into behavioral, situational, cultural fit, leadership, and technical sections. It offers practical tips on how to approach and answer each type of interview question effectively. And so some of the key points that you're going to find in this article, if we're talking about behavioral-based interview questions, the best way to approach that is use the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result. And some of the common questions are going to focus on handling stress and pressure, significant work challenges, showing initiative, working with diverse personalities, dealing with failures, going above and beyond, achieving goals, handling conflict, and meeting multiple deadlines. If we're talking about situational interview questions, those typically focus on problem solving and decision-making skills. And so some common questions are going to focus on the topics of managing tight deadlines, dealing with difficult clients, disagreement with managers, handling dishonesty, ideal company choice, prioritizing tasks, working with difficult team members, motivation for repetitive tasks, handling unfamiliar tasks, and receiving constructive criticism. When talking about culture fit, those interview questions are typically asking you to demonstrate alignment with company values and culture. And so the common questions are going to focus on ideal work environment, company culture knowledge, adapting to change, work-life balance, team contribution, expectations from supervisors, past team successes. Now, there are leadership interview questions, and those are going to showcase leadership styles and influence. And so the common questions are going to focus on leadership style, motivating others, delegating tasks, leading projects with limited direction, evaluating team success, and resolving team conflicts. And then there's a section on technical interview questions. Those are specific to the job role and the industry. And so those common topics are going to focus on programming languages, data structures and algorithms, system design, network protocols, and software development methodologies. And then there's some additional tips contained in the document. We're talking about, say, preparation. You want to research the company, practice common questions, and then prepare thoughtful questions to ask the interviewer. You also want to have a tip. Well, the next tip is on communication. You want to speak clearly, maintain eye contact, and use positive body language. Next tip is storytelling. Use vivid examples to illustrate your skills and experiences. Next tip is on honesty and authenticity. Be genuine and avoid exaggerating your qualifications. And then last tip in this document is going to focus on follow-up. Make sure you send a thank you note or email after the interview and to each interviewer. So, one of the other things that I want to highlight is in this article, there are, one second. There are several links in this article, so I'm going to make sure that you know there are tons of links under interview interview questions and answers, as well as there's a section on technical skills interview questions, and then they're broken out by all of these different interview skills that are technical, as well as industry specific interview questions based on your job title or the specific industry. So those are all hyperlinked in this document. One of the things I want to highlight is, by understanding these interview question types and following the tips, job seekers can increase their confidence and improve their chances of success in interviews. So as a reminder, for free, there are 2 practice interview resources which we introduced at each Career DFW event. So the first one is the Pit Crew, and for details, you can visit dallaspitcrew.com. And the second is the Interview Success Workshop by Walt. And so for details, he'll cover that in just a few minutes. But basically, if you go to his LinkedIn page in the About section, that's where he has all of his details posted. Please make sure, because of all the links that are contained in this article or in this guide, please make sure to use the URL and then basically go directly to the article on the website so you can have all of the active links within the article to have full access to all the hidden information that's contained behind the scenes. There is a wealth of additional resources behind each link. So I hope you guys enjoy this particular career tip of the week. Again, 100+ job interview questions and answers, and it's provided by a monster contributor. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
Thank you, Rosina, for all the work you do and the faithfulness that you show with our many, many tips of the week.
Glad to help.
So I'm Walt Glass. I kind of waited to introduce myself in detail until now, since I offer the free interview success workshop. I'm actually retired. I've been in the IT arena for many years before retirement. But today, in my retirement, I'm focusing on helping job seekers with interviewing skills as well. So we have 2 things that we offer, and Matt will talk about the Pit Crew in just a moment. And Rosina mentioned both of those near the end of her announcement on the tip of the week. But the Interview Success Workshop is a very informal learning workshop. It is not a mock interview, and we're learning how to sell ourselves. The objective is to move from a simple responding mindset to a selling mindset. And when I messed up an interview really badly back in 2000, I decided I better do something from learning how to be a candidate rather than a hiring manager. I loved being a hiring manager over the years. I was in control. I had all my questions, no sweat, no anxiety, no anything. But on the other side, it was a little different. So I sell 3 things. I sell who I am, what I do, and how I help. And that's what I'm suggesting to you, that if you do a very good job of demonstrating and articulating those 3 factors, you're going to be way ahead of all other candidates. Plus, you're going to strongly differentiate yourself in a very positive manner. So building skills and confidence for a successful hiring interview is a successful selling of those 3 elements. My About section, as Rosina said, on LinkedIn gives you details. You have to be registered to attend. I do it on Tuesdays on Zoom from 9 to 11 Central Time. I do 1 or 2 people at a time. So it's really, an interview where we can just focus on the learning part. So I call it learning without squirming. We all know that in reality, we should articulate our personality. It really comes into play when we do it that way. And that will end our job search finality. My name is Walt Glass. Okay, that QR code on the screen will start an email to me if you would like to register. I have one opening on the 17th, and the next one doesn't start until, I think it's January the 7th, on the Tuesday. But if you're interested, reservations are required and first come, first serve. So glad to have you participate. Now, Matt, can you tell us about the pit crew and give us some more details?
I can. If you haven't been, we highly recommend that you attend the PIT crew. PIT stands for Practice Interview Team. We recommend that you come a few times and observe other people being interviewed. We typically have 3 being interviewed on any given Wednesday. It's a great way to learn, a great way to prepare. Once you're comfortable, then go to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com to sign up for your own interview. We will prepare for that with a job description and a resume. We spend an hour or 2 doing this. It'll probably be the hardest interview that you'll have, but it's good preparation because everything is downhill from there, right? So please come see us every Wednesday, actually in this room, on Wednesdays from 1 to 3. And on the 4th Wednesday, we do that one online. So only one person, and that is to accommodate people that are outside the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Please come see us.
Thank you much, Matt. Just to let you know, for those of you in the room, or if you live close by and would like to join us for lunch today, we'll meet around 11:45 at Country Burger. That's on Parker Road. It's at Parker and Independence here in Plano. I've always wondered why a hamburger doesn't have ham in it, but it doesn't have. So I don't want you to be disappointed by buying the hamburger. So today, the main event is open forum. So you've got questions, you have challenges, you have issues, you have things you would like to learn more about. And so we open up your questions to all of our participants to suggest and help and give their experience and their knowledge and whatever that we can do to help each other. So if you've been to South Lake Focus Group, it's the HOPE method to help one person every day. So here's your chance to do that today. So who wants to start out?
Oh, right. Yeah. So what
You are?
happens? Oh, my name is Eric Sokolowski.
Thanks, Eric.
Eric Paul Sokolowski.
EP.
It's hard to remember. I've rebranded. Oh, we're having too much fun. What happens in an interview when you are clearly smarter and you know the subject matter better than the hiring manager? Right, that's it.
And they say you're too detail oriented.
Well, yeah, or
you're
you've just
overqualified.
kind of, you've just clearly materially, you just know the subject matter, and it's just abundantly obvious that yeah, well, maybe, yeah, whatever. That's the question.
For those in the room, just raise your hand to get the microphone. And online, you can just unmute, and jump in.
Or put them in the chat.
My suggestion would be to just get through the interview. Do your best not to outshine the person you're interviewing with so that you can get to the next person in the interview chain who may know more than you do. Because if you upstage them, they may be threatened and, kill you from the interview chain.
Since it sounds like this is the hiring manager you were talking with, I mean, I would maybe pivot it a little bit and not be threatening, like Matt said, but spin it your experience that you can help them solve their blind spots, maybe an area that they're weaker in. I can come in and immediately help you because I've said so. One school of thought. I know it's a tricky situation, but a bit of a balancing act, but maybe spin it to like, hey, I can immediately help solve some of your pain today.
Other thoughts? Patty mentioned something in the chat. Patty always has some great information for us.
Yeah, I mean, along with what Jody had said, basically, you bring your value, right? You show them that you know that subject very well. Show them how you can help them with whatever challenges that they're encountering. Hopefully, you've done your homework on what they've had in the press lately, where they're looking to go, what their strategy is, all those different things where you can help them. And that's how I would handle that.
Walt, this is Glenn. Uh, in the situations when I was in places like that, or actually even in work in the work environment, my hiring manager was, even though he was the ones I was working with were technically competent in many areas, they were managers. Their job was the management, not the technical aspect of what I was doing. So if I didn't know more about what I was doing than they did, um, I wasn't bringing anything to the table. So, yeah, everybody's mentioning that you're not trying to upstage or show up the person you're talking to. Until you said hiring manager, I thought you were going to say the recruiter. And frequently, at the first stage, a recruiter is not going to be competent in your technical area at all. So, but the hiring manager also may not be um, aware of the capabilities and the technical requirements of what you're bringing to that position as well.
Eric, let me ask you a question or two. What is your concern? What's the problem with, that situation for you?
That the guy thinks I'm after his job.
Okay. So if we think that's the motive behind the job, second question, is this a job you want? And is this the manager you want?
Yeah, well,
Okay. Step a little closer up here, I think. We got a speaker.
I mean, that's a good question, but at the same time, we can live in the dream world of what we want, and we can live in reality is that we need a paycheck.
Right. I understand that. And so to me, it depends. Say, hey, this is the job I want. This is a place I want to work. Then do you want to accept that particular situation to say, okay, I'll be okay and fine with that. If you feel like you'd be a threat, then in your answer, you want to answer the motive. I'm here to help you. I'm here to make you look good. I'm here to support you in your world. Those kind of phrases so that you're saying, I'm not a threat to you. So whatever you think the motive might be of a question, and every question has a motive, say, well, that might be it. So let me kind of include that in my response. Now, there was one person that asked the candidate, can I have all your questions that you're asking me that he couldn't answer? I mean, he didn't know his job. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't, he should have been able to. So he was not the kind of manager that the person wanted to work for. So the motive there was, okay, my concern is working for this kind of person, which is another situation. And so when he asked him, he said, I'll be glad to give them to you right after you hire me. So he wasn't going to give away his intellectual property and all that information. Other comments on that?
Yes, I'd like to add that I had that same situation and it was a CHRO. So what you want to do is just be totally honest, saying, hey, I've done it. I've been in that position if you've had, and saying, I'm really looking to fulfill this role that you have open. I'm not looking for your job. I'm happy where I am in my career stage or my life stage, and just be open and honest, saying, I love the fact that you're within my function in regards to someone I can turn to for a mentor. But I just want you to know that I'm happy for this position that I'm in, and this is why I applied to that job. I think you just have to be honest and let them know that, you love to learn their skills and you complement them in ways that you can be more technical, or you're a SME. So I think it would be good to have that honest conversation so that they know that you're not looking out for their job and there's ways that you can contribute professionally and positively. But at all times, you have to remain professional in your response.
Does that help, Eric? Okay,
Can I
thanks.
add one other thing as well?
Okay,
I know many of us may have worked or may have reported to a manager that you actually knew more than your actual manager. Um, and I do want to add, I haven't been in an interview. Well, I have been in interviews as well, that I may have known more than the actual hiring manager. So I do want to caution you in terms of during the actual interview, although you feel like you're more knowledgeable, you know more than this individual, make sure you're mindful to remain humble and that your knowledge doesn't come across as cocky, right? Because they're picking up on your personality. And if you're coming across where as a know-it-all, and perhaps trying to outshine the manager, that can deter them from even wanting to bring you on the team because it's also a cultural fit. So they're trying to make sure that your personality, if you're a great person to work with. So I do want to caution you in terms of that. And what other folks have mentioned as well, it's always a good idea to if they make the comment, hey, I think you're coming for my job, yeah, you want to reassure the manager that that's not the case. You're here to learn. You're even interested in sharing your knowledge to help mentor other folks on the team, junior folks on the team. So that shows that you also not only want to use your knowledge to grow in your own position, but you want to share that with other junior team members, and then you can grow from there. So I just want to share that. Hope it helps.
thanks, Loretta.
And maybe one more point, if I may. I
Sure.
think that as you go up in the organization, any good leader will try to surround themselves with people that know more as subject matter experts. You will never know, especially when you have many areas under you, everything about every single area better than the person that works for you. And that's actually good leaders do that. Leaders that are afraid that someone will know more and they will always try to be the person that knows the most are not, really great leaders. I guess that's my opinion. And so it might not be exactly what you're suggesting in your case. It might be that, even like basic information on the job, this person might not have known, but again, just to consider that if you are a leader and you have, and you're seeing it like from their perspective, and the leader is really looking for someone that can own a space within that organization, and you are the person, you're not really threatening because the leader will have many other areas that are part of the responsibility. Think of it as a CFO, a COO, they will not know every single area, and they actually rely on good people that are owners and somewhat act independently in those areas. They just oversee it. So anyway, just a thought.
Thanks, Miguel. Maybe in summary, does the manager know what you expect them to know in your interview? Do they have the knowledge to run the organization, to be the manager, to be the leader? I mean, as I rose up, I was in technical stuff for a long time, but the technical stuff got really changed over the years. And so that's why I used a team interview to check out the technical part of a job. So yeah, that's the same thing Miguel said. Let's go to another question. What's some of the challenges that you have in interviewing? What's the challenge you have in job search, networking?
I'd love to mention one, Walt.
And your name.
This is Mike Belzil for those online. Gone through an interview process that's kind of strung out. I'm sure a situation that many of you have dealt with is kind of doing that follow-up to understand where you're at in the process. And so I've kind of I love coaching on how to be kind of a professional pest, because I do it with get to the recruiter or whatever, but without pissing them off. And so I've tried a process where once a week I'm trying to nail them down on timeframes for follow-ups, but I don't know that I've got the best approach for it. I mean, basically it's went through the interview process and then it was kind of ghost silence. And then I kind of peppered once a week, and then finally got the recruiter, and I'll find out the position was put on hold and the budget's kind of TBD, and that's what the delay was. So I don't know. I'm sure many of you have dealt with these types of situations.
So how to be a professional stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a comment about that.
Yeah.
So what I've done in the past, because I'm, one of those people that has been in sales account management for a long time, is that I always set my next appointment before before the end of the call. So what I always did is at the end of the interview, I would say, okay, to confirm, I should follow up next with the HR person by X date or whatever. And if I don't hear from you, I should send you an email, correct? I get all that information, so I already know when to follow up with them. And I do that before at the end of every interview that I have. So I'm not guessing on when to follow up with anybody or who to follow up with. I actually know who I need to follow up with. And that has worked well for me. So I highly suggest that people use that approach. As a salesperson, always set your next appointment, know when you need to follow up with them and who.
Okay.
I like that, Patty. That's part of what's in the interview success workshop.
Great.
So the question is, what do you say when you follow up? What's the message? What's the email you send? What's the message you leave on the phone? What do you say when you follow up?
That
Steve,
that
got your
you
hand up.
I had another question not related to the conversation.
Oh, okay. We'll come back to you.
I'll add to that question, Walt. I think you want to continue to demonstrate your fit for the role. So you either refer to something that was said during the conversation and add an additional piece of information that you think they'd be interested in, or another story, your star story of yours that you think would demonstrate your fit. I like to add kind of a piece of information, just so I'm demonstrating that I'm thinking about their business and how I can help. Because I want to continue to add value to the conversation. And then they would be like, oh, okay, I should probably follow up with her. So hope that helps.
And what do you
think it's
end it with? You say, and if I don't hear from you by, and you set another date, you're going to contact them. Okay. Okay. Good. Mike, you want to speak?
No, these are great tips. I've done bits and pieces of it, but I haven't done it well. So this is good counsel.
It's what they call
Yeah.
taking charge of our job search.
Yeah.
Rather than say, been great talking to you, I look forward to hearing from you soon, which is the most terrible close you can say. You're saying, okay, what's the process?
Wait,
What's
what was the
steps?
word
So all
close?
these comments that are made.
I'm sorry, well, I missed that. What was the bad close?
The bad close is thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
Okay, got it.
That means nothing, and you're not going to hear from them. So the comments are made is set the date, follow up, find out who it with, how to contact them, get their phone number, and all that sort of thing. So all those comments that are being said are right on.
Yep.
As far as, hey, and we're not just asking them for status, because all the comments that was, I think Cindy was saying, still interested in the job, here's interest, I liked our conversation about, it's just not asking for status. They don't have enough time to tell all the candidates the status.
Yeah.
Other additional comments?
My additional comment is that, you want to show that you're passionate about this role or industry, that you're excited for it. Show that you're passionate about it, right? And make sure that that's noted as well. How you're really looking forward to that that your own goals align with the company's goals or strategy. I mean, that goes over well as well.
Okay, thank you.
Don't make it too long. They won't read it all.
Right. You can have your favorite AI tool modify it for you for under 250 words.
Okay, other challenges? Well, Steve, you had something?
Yeah, something actually came across this morning. I'm new lady that I was following, and she had a post that said, and this has to do with people who are consulting, doing contract work, and I'm doing both of those, and I'm also I'm also teaching. And she said the issue is that it's confusing for recruiters. And I wanted to reach out to the, HR talent folks in here to see what your feedback is when you see a candidate that says that they're currently doing contract work or consulting. Is that a turnoff, and how to deal with it? The recommendation that she had was when you say what you're doing, in parentheses, say while looking for full time. But I wanted to get your feedback and see what you thought about how that confuses the recruiter about what you're doing and what you're looking for.
Do you have the green banner up on LinkedIn?
Yes.
I mean, that's usually kind of the trigger that recruiters use.
Yeah, but she was saying that if you've got, and I've heard this before, that's if you say that you do contract work or you're a consultant, that it's a turnoff.
Oh.
I spoke to some of my recruiter friends and they feel both ways. They like the fact that you are keeping yourself busy doing contract work and still working. However, their concern is, how long is your contract? What if they need someone to fill the position right away and you can't really jump out of that contract? And they would probably have to wait for your contract to end. But if you share that information when the contract will end, and if they need you immediately, they have second thoughts about that too. So I've worked with recruiters where they feel like, depending on the timing of when they need the position filled, they'll either work with you if you are the right candidate that they're looking for. But at times, it's a positive that you are keeping busy and that, you're doing something with the time that you have and actually, gaining more skills.
So maybe the thing we should be doing is being clear about that it has ended, or it's when it ends,
Yes.
or the fact that you're doing it part-time, or something like
Yes.
that. I guess just be clear about it is what you're saying.
Yes, and also say that, hey, I'm doing contract work. However, there's no deadline. I can leave this position at any time. There are some contracts that are very flexible with your hours and your schedule and your projects. But if you are committed within that contract, be upfront. It will end in a week or 2 weeks. Will that give you enough time where I can continue to interview for the position? And when are you looking at starting that position?
Thank you
It might
so
work
much.
to your benefit if you know the time frame.
So it comes up, you're saying, Stephen, a lot in the early part of the process, an HR person type interview, and they're concerned. My question would be, if they contacted you, they're interested in you. If you have that you are currently working in LinkedIn or on your resume that you have this position, they still want you for some reason. And if we can convince them that they want us, then they will work more along the lines of giving you some flexibility to do that. The other thing is, from a corporate standpoint, you might have a contract for 6 months and they'll end it in 3 months or 4 months. And so sometimes we might be able to do the same thing. So you might be working with the people on the contract side to say, can I, work arrangements here to end my part earlier so that you can go. So you work both ends.
Yeah, the concern on the post and what I'm bringing up is before they talk to you, before they show interest, you may be screened out because it seems confusing and they just bug you out before you even get a conversation.
So can you put, ends in, when you put it in your LinkedIn, just say ends in October or ends whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I still think that let them be concerned about it. Let them. Because if you announce it that you're going to be up there and they don't want you to do that, fine. But if you don't say that and you get a call, that's the good part. So I would not put something up there to cause somebody not to choose me. I would try to keep it wide open. As far as the LinkedIn and your resume would go to it, however you want to do it. So it's up to you to decide whether you say this. Plus, some contracts get extended, so you never know about that either.
Steve, can I add one other thing? I've been on the other end of the spectrum as a hiring manager, and I will say, because oftentimes companies are looking to fill positions quickly. and whether they're looking for a consultant contractor to come in as a consultant to FTE. And oftentimes, if you're working in a contract position, that's perfectly fine. However, if you're being overlooked, you in general, if you're being overlooked for a position, you might want to consider the hiring manager possibly would overlook you for a number of reasons, but I think the top reason would be if you're a contractor in the last 2 years, you had about 4 or 5 positions. That's a red flag. And in 2 years, you went through 4 or 5 jobs, then we're looking at this might not be a good fit because this is a job hopper. So consider, and then again, it could be and if they're reaching out to you, if they're interested, say you've had 4 jobs within the last 2 years, if they are reaching out to you, it's possibly for a job that we only need you to backfill someone who's out on medical leave. So this job is definitely going to end in 6 months to a year. So it's fine that he's only looking for a consulting position. He's not looking for a full-time job. So let's bring him in. So it could be a number of reasons, but I would keep those 2 in mind.
It would be interesting to find out from HR people in those roles whether they would rather hire somebody that's working or hire somebody that's not working. Because I think a lot of people, the higher up you go, if you're not working, you get overlooked. The CEOs, those high levels, they like to steal people that are already currently working. So there's bias there. But the other side of it is maybe they would rather have somebody that's working and steal you. But I don't know the statistics on that.
You know, Walt, from my experience, it really depends on the hiring manager. Certain hiring managers are very open-minded and some aren't, you know. Some really want someone who is free and able to start immediately. And some says, hey, he kept himself busy or she kept herself busy. So it really depends on the personality of the hiring manager.
Okay. Another question. Another issue, another challenge. Penn?
Hi, Penn Hoyt again, B2B marketing exec. This is a situation. I saw a posting and it matched me basically 100%. And so fired off, the quick link, took the resume, ran it through ChatGPT, got it matched, all that fun stuff. Heard back from the recruiter very quickly, which was, well, I was very encouraged about. And then had a list of questions. 2 of the questions asking about background or experience were not listed in the original job description. And just asking, okay, it's the wrong word. I was going to say dance around that, but addressing that they're looking for someone with experience in this one industry. I don't have it, but how's the best way to put a spin on that to get them to say, okay, you don't have that. You're still a really fine candidate. We want to present you to the company.
I'm out. Let's get a microphone. William, will you be our microphone roving monitor?
I would say find something in your background that's similar to that company and try to relate it so that, they see the connection and just, try to make that connection for them. And, if, maybe you got to get a little creative with it, but, if it's yeah.
So this was an interviewer or a recruiter or somebody that came in there, but there was no indication of the industry. Okay. So you say, how do you handle it? All right. It's kind of interesting that they would contact you because they probably have some idea of your background in the industry, but you never know what they know. They may have been just a referral, they're just calling you.
Yeah, the response was, wow, you're fantastic. This is great. Thank you for reaching on out. This is really beautiful. I look forward to talking to you. And they're really specific. And can you answer these, 5 questions before we go further along the whole line? And I was kind of like, yeah, but why didn't you one of these seems kind of important. I would have thought you would have put that in the job description when you posted it. But
Have you worked in different industries?
oh God, yes.
Okay,
So-
so now you tell them how you have worked in different industries and how it's easy to pick up a new industry and,
That's how I was thinking of
Yeah,
spinning it, but I
yeah.
just wanted to get other people's attention
it's
on it.
a,
And and if you're like in an interview situation, they might ask you some questions of like, those tell me about a time when questions, and star stories were mentioned earlier. Don't forget that. And like, make sure you have some good star stories, give examples of like, so that really you're able to give examples that way of how you solve their problems. And that's so that way, you're making the case as to why it's you that's the best candidate.
I would ask them why they contact you. It's kind of interesting to find out their reason for doing so. Now, it's kind of unfortunate. A lot of jobs are industry agnostic. Your job is industry agnostic. All marketing is, what do you want me to market? It's ITs, finance. There's a lot of things that just doesn't really matter. But on their side, if you don't have industry experience, they'd rather have somebody that has industry experience. So if you're going to a job that is in a different industry, learn and express your knowledge about that industry in the interview. So that's a upfront action if you know that the job you're looking at is in one that you're not familiar with. So you can talk industry trends, challenges, competition, all those kind of things, for that particular company, so you have some knowledge about it.
Well, we have a
Um, I've worked for all different kinds. I've worked IT support. I've worked for university. I've worked for convenience store companies. I've worked for a couple of banks, and I always look at it as IT is IT no matter where I go, right? Make it as kind of as general as you can so that, you're able to apply your experience to any company, any industry. You just have to look at it almost from a macro point of view, right? And just try to make yourself apply wherever you go.
All great comments. The only thing I would add, Penn, is this is an initial screening interview. Okay.
Penn just said he would responding. He responded to a posting and got a call back pretty quickly.
Okay.
Get the microphone. Other people are wondering what's going on here.
The man in the back. It was very positive, came on back. Hey, you look fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for reaching on out. Very, very nice positive things, which I needed to hear yesterday on a day that was dead. And then, 4 out of the 5 questions were, yep, I've got this. Yep, I've got this. Yep, I've got this. I got a story. I got a background. I got a story, a background. And then I hit the last one and says, tell me about your experience in this industry, because they're really concerned. They really want someone from this industry. I'm like, well, that wasn't in the job description. So, not that I would not have responded to, but to me, it's kind of like, okay, if it's that important, why wasn't it in the job description? But obviously it is. So now I have to address that. And what's the best way of doing that? The thing that you said, and you, Walt, as well, being a marketer, tend to be very, you can get plopped in any industry and learn it very quickly. The last one I was in was the defense industry. Had no clue about that one when I jumped into that industry. So, and hit that one out of the ballpark. So, appreciate the comments from everybody. So I just want to make sure I was going down the right line on that and not, have here like, ooh, okay, you're going the wrong way.
Just one more thought. Could you reach back out to them, Scary, and say, look, you've asked for stuff that wasn't in the original job description. Is anything else going to change? Is this client really set on what they want? and just to get them to give you, maybe they'll talk about it and give you some feedback on, you know, what the client's mindset is.
Yeah, that's a great point, Peter. You have an opportunity, since they've given you some info, to get a little more information from them. Yeah. Because they clearly are screening. They like you and they want to get you in the talk to pile. And then the other thing is, if you view this industry thing as a showstopper, is if you don't have the industry experience, maybe spend the multiple industry experience that you have about you being a really quick learner. It's like, okay, I haven't been in X industry, but I worked in 10 different industries and my skill is quickly adaptable. So.
I'd even go so far as to say, avoid the haven't. I haven't worked in this industry. It's like, it'll be great to work in this slightly different field where I can bring blah, 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 transferable skills.
Okay. Who's next? I see it. He's open. Did you want to speak, Stephen? You did have your hand up.
Oh, I was just gonna add on that last question. They may have a problem, like Walt likes to say, how it can help solve their problem. Their problem may be far more important than the industry experience. So these are, if you think about these as like a list of skills, and you can't see the importance ranking next to them, you just see them as being on the list, right? So they might have just thrown in the industry experience, but the other one is far more important, and you can't tell. You can't see all that stuff. But that's why it helps to have someone on the inside who knows what's going on, and they can give you a little peek behind the curtain. It's pretty normal to have different stakeholders. So I wouldn't, this stuff is not easy. Like, for teams that don't hire much, this is not a main thing for them. So I wouldn't discount the company in too much. When you see this kind of messy stuff and things aren't clear, I wouldn't put too much into it. For me at Baylor, I loved Baylor. It was a fantastic place to work, but our job descriptions were horrid. And if you wanted to get it fixed, you have to go through corporate, and you were not going to get it fixed. So we had to, lump along with these terrible job descriptions, and HR was not great to work with, but working there was wonderful. I'm so grateful for all the time I had there. So yeah, don't give it, just look at it as one point of data. That's all.
So I have a question for you. In general, when you are confronted with something that they're concerned about that you don't have, what's our approach?
So, Walt, I think you taught us that, just to go back to how we can help. And I think it's more of like, yes, acknowledge it, because if you keep saying like, oh yeah, or try to dismiss it, it's very obvious. But then re-emphasize what it is that you do bring that will solve the problem, and focus on that instead.
Okay, other thoughts?
Well, there's similarities. I heard from someone earlier this week that they came from the hospitals and were trying to get into hotels. And the interview at the hotels was, like, hey, you guys don't know, things change a lot in the hotels. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, it's way more dynamic in the hospitals. They just don't see they're not familiar with hospitals. They don't see it that way. But there's, it's like, yes, we know how to work in complexity. We know how to work in environments that are constantly changing. So just recognize the similarities And maybe the industry differences aren't that big a deal. It's the similarities that you do have.
I agree with Steve. I think that definitely pointing out similarities in even just how the process works, even if they're different things in the two industries, but the complexity, etc. The other part is it's a once again, star story where, you show yourself as a learner. You had done something where you learned something that you didn't know and you were successful, and that proves the point that, those things that are different, you will be able to, where you will be able to close that gap. And in no time, you'll be also able to contribute.
I think it's just the perspective of that person saying that. It's what they had wanted and they failed to put it in the preference area or even the requirements. I don't think that should be a deal breaker. I think you can talk around it saying, hey, I have all these experiences and what I can bring to the table and what I can contribute to you. Learning from all these different functions or jobs I've had would show you that I'm committed to your company and I would love to, move this interview forward. I don't think, working at a company should be a deal breaker. But sometimes you have to have that conversation with the next person you're interviewing with or with other perspective. You can message them through LinkedIn or email and say, hey, I just wanted to reference and share with you that I'm highly committed. I think you can work around that.
Yeah, I was going to say I agree. And then I think the star stories come into that really well as being able to present, well, this is how I handle something very similar to that and bring that into focus and drawing their attention to where you succeeded as opposed to what you're missing out on.
So we're talking about a star story that would give a similarity of how you picked something else up, you learned something else.
Correct.
And that would apply here as well. Somebody else have a saying? So the general approach is resolve the challenge, resolve the issue. And there's two cases. One, we look at the job description and there's something in the job description that we don't meet. We can prepare a response to how we will meet that requirement. That may require some research into a particular area so you can get at least talking knowledge of what that element is, so you can talk intelligently about it, and then you can follow up. I love the idea of the star story of how I picked up something else. And I think everyone has been given a task somewhere in their career they didn't know anything about how to solve, and they went about resolving it. They figured out how to do that. When I worked for EDS, that's the people we hired. Say, do you know anything about healthcare? No. Well, you will in a year. You're going to run Minnesota Blue Cross Blue Shield. So go on up there, and that's the kind, so that can happen. The second one is when we don't know, we can't prepare in advance. Pause, stop, think about how I might be able to address this so that this does not become a stopping point for the interview, so that we can keep going in the process. So our approach is, if we have them prepared, great. And if we don't have them prepared, stop and think about how you would handle it and do that and what story you might want to choose. But that's my summary. Everybody had some great comments on that. I like your answers, like your participation. I think that story of how you met a similar situation is crucial in your response. Okay, we need another challenging arena of topics, questions, areas.
I can share that I had a recruiter from a staffing agency respond to me 2 weeks ago after I applied to a job. And she sent me on LinkedIn, I think 8 to 10 questionnaires to answer. And to me, they're like essay questions, having paragraph forms. So I responded within a day and I didn't hear back. A week later, I messaged her saying, hey, is there anything else I can add or clarify for you? I would love to understand what the updates are? Nothing. She was silent. Again, earlier this week, I reached out to her asking for the same thing. And while we were here, I basically said, "Hi, I know you're busy returning from Thanksgiving. Please let me know how I can assist you with my network if I am not the right fit for this role. I just wanted to keep in touch." So let's see what she says. I just hate the fact that they ask you for information, they need it. But if you spent like half the day trying to respond to those essay questions, there should be some form of professionalism of responding back saying, "Hey, we're still going through all the candidates, responses or things like that." But to be silent is just so unprofessional, especially if you put so much effort into that.
Recruiters are not going to look for a job for us.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, but at this point in time, if she hadn't gotten back, pick up that phone, call them. If you can get them on the phone, then you can make them, get them to answer on that
Yeah,
one.
I don't have their phone number. It's just
You know
through
the name of the company though?
yes, it's a staffing agency
Call
and
the
they
agency and
report you.
say, hey, this person called me for a really important job. You
That's
don't,
true.
you know,
That's true.
you can push it, be a salesperson. Hey, they called me and I'm trying to respond and I want to help them make their money really fast, which makes the company money, which gets you a bonus, type
Yeah,
of
that's
thing.
true.
Throw that. I always throw that at a recruiter saying, hey, I'm here to help you make money.
Yeah, I just didn't, I
That is
don't, I
true.
guess I'll think about it. Maybe I'll do that.
Dial and smile, what the hell? Get all revved up on Red Bull or something and start calling. So
So my comment on this, if I may, is that, we don't know what that person is going through right now. They could have had an extended vacation after Thanksgiving, right? They could just be getting back and they're slammed on some different things. Maybe they just requested it right before they went on vacation. Who knows? So definitely give them a little bit of grace too. We can't assume anything. And yeah, absolutely. You can certainly call the staffing agency and ask. Who knows? Maybe that person's no longer with the company. I mean, we don't know.
thank you, Patty. Matt was trying to say that and he didn't have the microphone and I did. So you got it. You got it through Matt.
Telepathic.
Yes, telepathically.
So true. So true. Thank you.
Recruiters are not going to do anything that doesn't help them move forward with a job opportunity. Calling you back is one of them. Giving you status is one of them. They don't have the time to do that. If you want to have some fun, go be a recruiter for a week. And then you'll be under, then we'll figure out how we can help them in their job and make it easier for them through that process is going to be a key differentiator instead of just laying it all onto them. What can I do to help you? What's the best thing, that I can do? What kind of information you look for? When's a good time to call you back? When's a good time to reach you? How's the best way to do it? All trying to stay on their agenda. And then when you call them, you can say, well, we discussed that I could call you today and I had permission to call you.
That's so true. But they also have their strategies too. Sometimes they have their three show ponies already and they just need a backup. And sometimes they're just saying, hey, this is a backup candidate. You just don't know where you are in that lineup.
Right.
So
there was a nice thing on what recruiters would love to tell you but can't. And it's all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes in the, in this process, but they can't say those things. You might ask ChatGPT or some AI,
exactly.
that question and say, what is it they're not telling us? We can ask Rosina, she can tell us.
I remember earlier this year, we had a Meet the Recruiters event over in Stonebriar Church, and we were supposed to ask the recruiters questions. The biggest question was, how do we handle being ghosted by recruiters? They call up, they're like, we need this, and they'll call up every 5 minutes and get all your information, and then gone. Can't get a hold of them. They use ported numbers, so you don't have their number.
One of their
Beast.
That's a good point, William, to extend that. One technique I've used, and it's only in situations where you kind of have a hiring manager and a recruiter, is as much as recruiters ghost candidates, hiring managers, I think, ghost recruiters. So you can help sometimes bridge that gap by going straight to the hiring manager to get information at the recruiters, because they put the recruiter in there to be the buffer. Yeah, so the hiring manager doesn't have to constantly deal with all these candidates, talking to them, hounding them. So it's another angle that, may be helpful, that where I've been getting ghosted. I'll just go straight to the hiring manager and kind of bridge that gap. So.
Yeah, one of the things that I've learned to do with recruiters that are very excited about talking with you is form a relationship with them. One of the first things that I ask them is, can I connect with them, or can they connect with me on LinkedIn? They don't always do, but I usually let them know what I can offer them. If this job that they're asking me about doesn't work out, I let them know that I have a connection at work that I can help them find other people. And that's actually paid back. I've actually had at least 3 recruiters in this past year that have come back to me and said that they still remember me and they're keeping their eyes open for me. I didn't even solicit anything from them. I was actually surprised that they came back and said that. Now, nothing's materialized from that, but the fact that they remember me makes me feel a little bit better about it.
I think one of the biggest rules is you want help, give help. It'll come back. Let me ask you this. When you have a challenge in your job search, like this challenge, all right, do what you would do at work. You have the same challenge. You got somebody at work that's not getting back in touch with you. They're not doing things, and you need their information, and it's critical, whatever. You approach the job search in a similar way that you approach your job at work. You don't let people stop you in doing things. You take actions in order to keep progress going, keep moving, reach the goal, whatever it might be. And so if we have the mindset of job search is one of, I'm just going to post everything and wait till they call me, you don't work that way. That's not how you work in your business. That's not what you do on your job. So we shouldn't do it this way either. We should be out there spending more time finding than being found. We certainly want to spend some time being found. Certainly we want to apply to some jobs. But as one person, I saw a post, was what he said, in the last 7 weeks, I've applied to 98 jobs. And I haven't heard a thing. And he complained about he's not getting responses, all right? And so I said, okay, if I did that at my office, in my job, I said, okay, everybody, here's what we got to do, and then hope it gets done, not going to work, right? So attack it, be persistent, be in charge. You don't want to antagonize them, help them, do the positive things you can on their side. Don't give up. If this is your job you want and the company you want to work, don't give up. Persistence is going to pay off. I think it's Jay Fusaro who says, on your 6th contact, when you're still trying to reach them to see, if this job is still open or whatever, you leave a message that says, this is the last time I'm going to contact you. And I still want the job. I'm still in the job spot. Would like that. If they are interested in you, they're going to call you because, you're not going to hear back from them. So I better contact you. So if you're still in the running. So that's just what Jay Fusaro says. I don't know if 6 is the magic number. Sometimes I like to make it 2, but, speed things up. But we cannot speed up their job search process. And it's probably one of the slowest, most dysfunctional processes in business today. So it's up to us to help get around those types of challenges and issues. I'll offer my soapbox. We hadn't had a networking problem. How's your networking going? Anybody had some success with networking? Can talk about like you're on track, something's happening, something's in progress.
I've had hopefully a small progression in that another English guy who I've known for a long time was with T-Mobile, got laid off, and his wife was made aware of, she works there too, and was made aware of roles coming up, and their boss actually wanted people to apply for them. So I managed to get involved in that. And I've had one chat with a recruiter so far. So yeah, that was a good response from the networking.
Great. We have one in the room. Name?
Hey, hopefully we have no feedback back here. Okay, this is Aaron Dutka again, in the room. Not a success story exactly, but just a recommendation, a book that I absolutely loved for networking. I read a couple weeks ago. It's called The 20-Minute Networking Meeting. Incredible resource. You can get it on Audible, listen to it in 2 hours. The gist of the book is there's a very successful recruiter who has gone through countless networking meetings, observed all the things that people did really well and all the things people did really poorly, and gave a concise layout of if you're conducting a networking meeting with either a recruiter or a business contact, what is the golden format you can hit to do a clear and concise meeting that's mutually beneficial for everyone. So for me in my young professional career, it was incredibly helpful, but I imagine even for more seasoned people, there's a lot of great nuggets there. So just wanted to give a shout out to that
It's
book.
called the 20-minute.
20-minute networking meeting.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
putting it in the chat.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Oh, Matt's already ahead of me.
And speaking of networking, I have an announcement.
Go for it.
So I wanted to let everybody know of a very good networking opportunity that's coming up this coming Tuesday. The excuse me, the Association of Business and Technology Professionals is having a happy hour this coming Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Bar Louie location at the Toyota Music Factory in Irving. So it's gonna be a fun happy hour. So I highly recommend you sign up in advance if you plan on attending by going to abtpdfw.org. So great organization. It may sound familiar to many of you because it is one, because of course the Meet the Recruiter event was mentioned earlier. That is the main organization that puts that on. So so since I know many of you mentioned like certain positions, like Scrum Master, product and project manager or whatever, if you're in those or any other, or just you're any other kind of business or technology, or just any technology positions, especially, I highly recommend that you attend this happy hour this coming Tuesday. So since you're on the subject of networking, I thought that would be the appropriate time to make that announcement.
Thank you, William.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
This is Mike Belzil. One other tip, especially as you get into the holidays and there's more gatherings. Don't forget that your affinity groups are great sources for networking that I sometimes discount. So I'm involved in veteran activities, and I was in a meeting a couple weeks ago with JP Morgan Chase that has opened a bunch of different networking paths that I had not even considered just from a simple event that I went to. So definitely, whether it's whatever your affinity group is, a school, a team, whatever, oftentimes you view those as different from networking, but they're incredible resources to tap into that may not be obvious.
Anyone else? No networking stories of something in the past where you got a job in the past that you might could share? If you look back and say, how did I get my previous jobs? What was that process? How did I know? Sometimes it's a promotion within the company where somebody knows somebody in another area of the company. Companies like to look internally first before going public with filling positions. How many people enjoy it? You have fun networking. Loretta? I know Patty's not online. Some people leave near the top of the hour, but Patty is a major networker. If she was online, she'd be giving stories
Yeah.
right now.
I was going to say that, a couple of weeks ago, I was given the name of a person to talk to at AT&T regarding a position there, and ended up hitting it off very well with this person because we're both from the East Coast, and I could detect that he was from the Boston area. And then he could detect that because I talked as fast as he did, that I was from the New York area. And the two of us had a very rapid fire conversation that was extremely good. It was beneficial in terms of finding out the lay of the land that was going on there. And he was able to, it didn't come out, great, because he said, hey, yeah, I know they're posting, but he says, I'm expecting another round of layoffs here after the first of the year because that division's not hitting its numbers, he said. But reminded me, it was just that being able to reach out to people within the networking groups that you belong to and throw those questions out there. Like today, I got blown up this morning by South Lake Focus Group with a bunch of people who were looking for different contacts. And the reason this guy and I hit it off well is because he had been through the same thing about a year and a half ago. And he said, anything I can do to help you on out. I don't want anyone to have to go through this alone. I'd be very happy to, anything I can do, let me know. And anyone who's been through this wants to help. And if they don't want to help, they, shouldn't be part of the group as it is. But people want to help, and don't be afraid to reach out. They want to give you a hand.
Yeah, people that have only worked a year or two in their last, whatever current job are great helpers because they've been through it very recently and would have good empathy for job seekers. Who's the guru, greatest, probably most popular networker that anybody knows in the DFW area?
Foster.
If you don't know Foster Williams, the great connector, he's also called the job father, but Foster is the great connector. Just about every time when I see him, in a group and somebody's looking for a contact, Foster raises his hand. He's got a contact at this company or that company or whatever it might be. And so and he is a wonderful helper. So if you get a chance to meet him and talk to him and say, here's company, he almost always can have some connection. So I would say he is the most popular and most well-known helper with networking, and I think the DFW area. There's others, but he does it so well known. So get to know Foster.
Can I say one thing? Because you asked to share some experiences.
Okay.
A year ago or so, when I really started my search, I find that it's a lot different now looking for employment than it was a year or 2 years ago. Dynamics have changed so drastically. Before, when I got a job, interview with the hiring manager, answer the questions, they feel like you're a good fit, you get the offer within a day. Easy peasy. Now it's hire with the or interview with the hiring manager, then the second interview with the VP, then the third interview with the president. It's like, geez, how many interviews do I have to go through? The CEO of the company. It's like you go through all of these interviews and then you get ghosted. You don't hear from anyone. I've also heard of stories that folks have went on the fifth interview, face to face, 5 interviews, and no offer. So the dynamics of interviewing has changed. Now I see, and one of the reasons why I'm here is that I see that we really have to network because it's all about maybe networking. It's about who you know and sharing and getting in front of folks based on referrals because a resume just isn't cutting it anymore. So I don't know if anyone has experienced that, but just for me, it just seems like the entire interviewing process has changed
I think the question is
dramatically.
who has not experienced that more than who
Yeah.
has experienced it.
Yes, yes.
So there's good news and bad news. I love companies that are serious about who they pick and select through that. But at the same time, I remember the one person he went through like 8 or 9 interviews and they made him an offer and he said no. He said, why? I says, you take too long to make a decision. It takes, and so this is not the kind of company that I want to work for. So yeah, we're going to be faced with that. Other comments? Jody?
Yeah, but does that really reflect the company or does that reflect the person? And
Yep,
and
could be either one, right?
Right. So one of the questions that I really have is, there's a lot of talent out there, number one. There's a lot of people that seem to be unemployed. We're seeing a lot of layoffs, and yet the unemployment rate seems to be going down, and that doesn't make any sense. And I don't know if it's just because we're in the the job seeking area, but it doesn't. I'm not quite sure I understand it.
The unemployment rate means absolutely nothing to the unemployed.
Right.
It doesn't mean a thing, and it doesn't change anything, right?
Yeah, because unemployed people fall off of that list. Doesn't mean they got a job.
Yeah. And the unemployment rate goes down. Look at these, where are the people, what kind of jobs is going up? Where is it professional level, is it, where it goes? It's because certain levels are increasing to make that number higher, but that number is not, our level is not as high as some other levels.
Yeah, I mean, I guess more than anything that I would say is it's a competitive job market now. And, the experiences that we're all having of not getting hooked after 5 interviews it's just indicative of the market itself. It's hard to understand why, you're not getting hired. And if anybody is, I mean, we do hear landings, which is great to hear, but it just doesn't seem like it used to be.
And it can't change our activities one iota. I mean,
Right.
we still just got to go after it, right? Yep. So, yep, there's a lot of good in the process. And it seems strange that you go through this level of interviews and you don't, but I've heard the stories of, I was one of the finalists, they're between 2 of us and they chose the other person or whatever it might be. So, yeah, we struggle with the process. We still have to follow their process. That doesn't mean we can't ask permission to change their process. Well, it doesn't mean we say, well, gee, could I talk to the team? I would like to talk to the team. Maybe you want a team interview to help you decide whether you want to work there or not. And they didn't have that scheduled. So we can ask to change their process.
Yeah, and the comment that I'd make, Walt, is that you said it right. Regardless of what the process is, you still have to forge forward, do the best you can, put your best foot forward. And, these groups, these networking groups, these things around the DFW area, they help prepare you for that. And just hearing all this other stuff going on, recruiters ghosting, companies ghosting, unfortunately, it's all part of the process.
Yeah, if we're frustrated with ghosting, then we're going to end up being frustrated. and that's all that's going to happen. Yeah, it's a shame. But there are some exceptions.
Is it possible companies are laying off because of benefit costs?
Well, I know that a lot of things are changing with benefits. A lot of retirement plans are missing. They don't have those. A lot of things are changing. But the answer is, it's just cost in general. Certainly. As soon as you hear of the hiring freeze, look for a job. Right? Anybody else want to talk about that? Penn?
This goes back a ways, but I was the person who was doing the hiring back when I worked for Sprint and had a candidate that, I would always do 3 interviews. One with me, one with my staff, and then one with one other person just to get a clearance on that. And that's as far as we would go. We were ready to hire this person, and the day I was ready to send the letter out to her, HR came back and said, hey, we just got a hiring notice from HR or HQ. We got a hiring freeze on, so we can't extend an offer to this person. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. We need her now. And like, hey, you missed, the deadline came and went. So I had to unfortunately send an email to her and give her a call and say, hey, we've got a hiring freeze going on right now. I don't know when it's going to go. So for the freeze actually lasted about a month. Fortunately, I mean, freezes can go longer than that, but it was fun because we'd reached a relationship stage where about 3 weeks into the freeze, I get a package in the mail from her, open it on up, and in it is a joke ice cube with a fly frozen in it and with a note saying, isn't this hiring freeze just bugging you? Just wanted to let you know I'm still available. So as soon as the freeze got over that day, I was on the phone with her, grabbing her. And also put it in perspective, I went through, when I first hit this, I thought I was going to luck out, and because I got hit with a resume or a recruiter 2 weeks after I got let go for a position. Went through 4 rounds of interviews, said they're getting ready. You're 1 of 2. 1 week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks go by. Set, every week send a letter. Hey, what's going on? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? And then 4 weeks later, oh, well, the company has now decided to put everything on hold and they're going to wait till the acquisition that they have going on is going to go through. Boom. Which is something that I had heard was happening. I'd even asked them about that in the beginning of the interview process and was told, no, we're fine with that. We're fine. Don't worry about it. We are hiring. It doesn't matter. So, it happens on both sides of the fence. Not a fun process, but you just one foot in front of the other. And
Yeah.
keep, once a week, send your email on off. How you doing? What's up? Where we go from there.
I walked out of a 1-hour interview and there were people standing outside the door. Says, we were thinking of interrupting you, but we just had a hiring freeze. No. And that was in the middle of the interview. So those companies that have hiring freeze are suspect. You might want to say, this is the company I really want to work for, or look into it, figure out what's going on and what's happening. You don't want to get hired to get fired.
Yeah, I mean, this is Mike, just a couple of additional thoughts. I mean, clearly the pendulum has swung where the power is more with the employers versus the employees and candidates, what it was maybe a few years ago. I think technology has exacerbated a lot of this. I mean, I just think it's AI and everything else is, I think, intended to speed up the process. You could argue in many cases maybe overwhelmed it and slowed down the recruiting process. Because I talk to a lot of friends that are hiring managers right now, and they're equally frustrated. They can't hire the people that they need, despite broad knowledge that there are a lot of people out of the workplace, looking right now. So and then the last fact is, still a lot of uncertainty in people costs. Labor costs is the number one cost for every company. So that, when there's uncertainty, there's going to be, very tight, strict controls. It's probably why you're seeing all these freezes and start, stop, and that will continue until there's, more clarity for these businesses and what their future plans will look like, unfortunately. So just a couple thoughts.
Thanks, Mike. Eric, you want to say something?
Yeah, so I have a question around, so the hiring company has no questions about technical capabilities or knowledge, but they're unsure about fit and culture, and they want one more round to assess fit and culture. How?
So I do a lot of, because I'm in IT, I go in and I'm always worried about whether they're going to ask me about, my technical expertise. They do, and I'm not at a super high level. I mean, I couldn't, quote specs on certain devices, but usually what I find is the interview period, regardless of what position you're going into, is all about how you're going to fit in with the group more than anything else. And you have to get past that they're not looking for your skills. The fact that they're interviewing you is you've met the requirements, but really it's all about, can you talk with them? Can you relate? Can you fit in with whatever they have? And you're not going to know how that is. It's just a matter of, and that's why this networking is good, because it gives you that opportunity to talk with people. And that's the only thing I'd say is cultural fit. you're not going to know what their culture is. They probably don't even know what their culture is. They just want to know if you're going to be able to talk with them or relate.
This week I got a survey, AI survey on a position I applied to. And obviously there's a flaw in that as well. If you need glasses to read, how are you going to read your phone for these questionnaires? So I contacted HR this week, tried to get the guy to resend it to my email. Never heard a thing back. So,
Yeah, it's probably automatically sent out.
yeah.
I was going to say, I kind of read that if you've gone through a couple of interviews and now they want to bring you back for a fit interview type thing, that's a good thing because you've made it that round and now they're very, in my mind, they're considering you well. But this is also again where the networking comes on board, where when you get that first interview and you know you're going to get the second one there, that you're trying to reach other people within the company so you can already talk to them about, why you work there, what do you like about it, what do you not like about it, what have they done well, what do you think they could do better, those kind of questions. So you already have that in the back of your mind. So you've got an idea of what the company culture is like. So when you go in, you can answer those questions that are in that, and you kind of know what they're looking for. Like, if you're going in with a startup and their reputation as a burn and churn organization, that you can say, hey, I can, the minute I walk through the door, I'm going 900 miles an hour, so I can keep up with you guys just as quick as you can. Or if it's more of a laid back atmosphere, saying, yeah, I enjoy coming to work, but I don't let work run my life. And those are two extremes, but that's where I think the networking piece comes on in to find out what's going on.
So if this is the process they follow and you haven't had some of the opportunity to find culture out on our own, and they start asking about it, my question to you is, can you describe your ideal culture? That was actually one of the questions on Rosina's tip of the week, and it's also one of the questions I like to ask on the pit crew. Do you know, what do you like about working here? And that's who you are and how things are done. And so are these the kind of people I want to work with? And do they do these things in this kind of manner, in this process that fits, into what I want to do? Or where I see so much opportunity to change their processes for an advantage to get things a lot better. It says, okay, that's an opportunity for us. But we should be able to describe our culture. We should be able to describe exactly what we're looking for. We ought to be able to describe our leadership. We ought to be able to describe collaboration. We ought to be able to describe how things get done. How do they use their values? We should be able to quote their MVV, their mission, vision, and values, and know what they are. And then we can ask questions about that particular vision or their values. You say, well, have you ever had a time when you had someone who was kind of breaking the rules on, using the wrong value or something like that, but it sounded like a good deal? How did you resolve that? How do you reward people? That's a culture question as well. So if I kind of figure that out in advance. And it's very interesting but they do the I do part first. Looks like you can do the job, and then they want to say all the rest of the stuff comes later. We're going to have to cut it off. We got just a few minutes left, so I want to thank everybody for the participation that they've had today, the questions that were asked, and those that gave suggestions and ideas and help to help each other as we go through this transition process.
Hey, Walt.
Anything that we can do to shorten our job search and to help others shorten their job search. And so let me give a couple other things here that we're going to wrap up with, and we'll be done for the day.
Hey, Walt, before we finish, is there someone in y'all's audience in the room whose last name is Clark? I think they were looking for a procurement contact.
Adenia? Yes.
Perfect. What's the first name again?
Adina.
Adena?
Adenia.
Nia. Clark.
Clark, yes.
Perfect. I have a procurement contact for you.
Okay, great. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Walt. Sorry about the interrupt.
No problem.
One of the things we can do is in the chat window, you can say, hey, so-and-so, here's call me or let me know, or here's how to reach me. I have a connection at, because you're going to get a copy of the chat as part of a follow-up email, along with an address where you can go see the recording of this. And so there's a follow-up that Matt sends out. And so those kind of things put in the chat will help each other. In fact, and there's a lot of things that are dropped into the chat that are not discussed and talked about, but are mentioned. I strongly suggest that you review that chat information when you get that. So just a little bit about careerw.org for those of you who may not know anything about it. It's the job site website that I suggest that everyone take a look at and go through. And I mentioned that there was a video, and we'll talk about the videos in a second. But there is one of the main things that careerw.org is a calendar feature. And so if you go to careerw.org and you click on the calendar and you click on everything or whatever, it's going to come up and it's going to look something like this. It has a couple of different views, but there's a ton of groups out there to help job seekers. And you ought to take a look and see what's available to you. And most of it is free. There's a lot of it that's just totally doesn't cost anything for that. And if you check on the agenda view, it kind of looks like this. You can click on any one of these things and it'll give you information, give you a contact number, dates, whatever, about the meeting, etc. So you can find out what that might be. So you might want to definitely take a look at those things that are in the calendar in the careerdfw.org. There's another thing that's out there on the YouTube channel, is a YouTube Career USA channel that has multiple videos. I think there's over 400 out there now that Jeff basically has recorded as he was leading 4 different groups during COVID and recorded a lot of videos on many job search topics. So when you click on playlist, you'll get this view and it'll show you categories. And so when you see a category, if you click on the category, you'll get the list. If you click on the icon or the picture, you're going to start that video. So go to your playlist and you can see, and you can scroll up and down through your playlist to see what they look like. And so it looks something like this. And so here's the different ones, all right? Free publicity, close the deal, open forum, all right. So then you can figure out which one you might want to review and look at. So there's a ton of resources available through that. What's coming up next week on Tuesday is LinkedIn. Patty Bashy is currently leading that group in Jeff's absence. And so Locke Anderson will be talking next Tuesday and how to use LinkedIn for job hunting and strategies that get results. There's a round robin of speakers that she uses to speak on LinkedIn. On next Wednesday, the practice interview team will meet. That will be, let's see, yeah, that'll be an in-person one. On December the 18th, I think is going to be the online one. It's going to be on a Wednesday, not a Thursday, because online on that Wednesday instead of the next week, because the next week is in the Christmas holiday week. But schedule your practice interview. Just you can go to www.dallaspitcrew.com and it will show you and give you lots of information about the pit crew and all that information. Be glad to have you participate. Just send your resume and job description into pit crew.
Got a question about that.
Yes, sir.
So I'm hearing that there are not a lot of slots in the pit crew available right now, and I heard there's not going to be some available for till at least like late January or early February. Is that true?
No. What's happening is the ones that are scheduled further out, those schedules change.
Okay.
People cancel. There's a lot. So Ron is actually kind of forming up a more soon schedule in that. So he's got maybe a couple of weeks or so out, but after that, I think, yeah, we've had we had cancellations the last 2 weeks for people. So yeah, take care, Eric. So yeah, don't assume that you can't get a slot in, but yes, you need to put a slot in so you can get in early, because the next week or two may be filled. So yes, but he's changed that, so that'll help with people on that. So for us, we're going to have Mike Coffey. He comes in every year and talks about background checks. It's pretty interesting to know what's going on behind the scenes when we're getting our, we have to do our background check when we get employed, what's happening. And then on Friday, the meeting before Christmas, I'm going to show a video called The Joy of Stress with Loretta LaRoche. And it's just kind of a fun topic. Give us a little bit of humor. Give us something about come out, relax a little bit. And some of the fun that we can have. So it's a good one to come see it and watch that. I think you'll enjoy it very much. And of course, we're not going to meet during Christmas week. Okay? So those of you who want to go eat with us, how many want to go eat at Country Burger today? Count them so we know how many chairs to get. All right. See you at Country Burger. They have good onion rings too. Great chicken sandwich. I love that chicken sandwich. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for participating.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks all.